peace, big love, big blessings, even bigger living, everything that comes with it and everything in between. You are tuned into Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David. It's just a conversation. And Thinking Out Loud is a place of empathy, accountability, growth, opening up conversation, right? Introducing and reaffirming those around us to the world around us as they share where they've been, where they at, and where they're going. But enough of all that. Today I got a special guest. All guests are special.
100%.
But today I got a special guest.
Nah.
I got my brother Marquis Bradley. And I'm about to run down a whole list. So, feel free to sit back and just appreciate the introduction, all right? So, for those who don't know, Marquis is a dynamic entrepreneur, community builder, motivational leader based here in Wichita, Kansas. He is the CEO and founder of OmniCut Motivational Fitness, where he helps clients break past physical and mental barriers through movement and mindset coaching. Beyond the gym, Marquis is a major force in the community. He's a brand ambassador for Somewhere Fest. He is a motivational speaker. He is somebody who can indeed take you from this level to the next level on purpose and in purpose. Husband, father, and as I said, a good friend of mine. And also, he is on the board of Sparrow, Wichita State School of Business. As I said, I got Mr. Marquis Bradley. What's up, family?
What's up, baby?
Welcome to the party, baby.
Man, I appreciate it. And I'll tell you, that intro, I appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm not there yet, but man, I'm grateful for that.
100%,
So,
100%.
There is one I would like to shout out, though.
Okay, talk to us.
So the newest one is I am the board chair of Build and Rebuild with Dr. William Polite.
Come on.
And that's just in the community. That's the network. That is the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like that's my full circle moment.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that as we go. But
ooh, I love it. Power. Like, I think there's so much power in when you are allotted the opportunity to grow community spaces, right? Because if you're trustworthy, that's how you get that opportunity to do it. That's how you get the privilege to do it. Everybody don't get the privilege to elevate the community, right? So we're going to go a lot of places today, Marquis. I might even slip and call you Coach Cheese. Just, I don't know, man. It might happen.
Nah, Coach, it's funny because people always question, like, do I call you Marquis or Coach Cheese?
Yeah. I
say, man, you call me what you know me by.
100%.
Don't change that.
I like that.
Because I'm Coach Cheese to my soul.
Yeah.
I'm Marquis to my soul.
That part.
So I know when you say it, I know where you know me from, what side of the tracks.
Yes, that part. All right, you Coach Cheese today.
Yeah, come on, man.
So, question I love to start every conversation of Thinking Out Loud with, because it really helps me recognize where we're going, like what kind of conversation we're going to jump into. And it's a loaded question, right? The question is, how is your spirit?
Man, I believe that if you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, I would have said all over the place.
Ooh.
Okay. And even though I do all this work, too much is given, much is required.
100%.
More responsibilities, more things that I got to figure out, like, man, how to navigate and how to work through. But at the same time, I still have things that kind of get in my way.
Okay.
Like myself, I get in my own self's way.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's where, I'm supposed to be trusting God's plan. But yet I'm like, well, God, come on now, you ain't working fast enough. So I try to do my plan and try to align it. And a lot of times that's just more of a detour.
Yeah.
I tell people shortcuts is only another word for detour.
100%.
Because if I get back on the path and the plan, then it's a lot easier. So how's my spirit today? Man, to be honest, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
That I'm always going to be, but it's just, I know the space I'm in right now. I'm doing what I'm meant to do on a daily basis. Yeah. So man, I'm grateful.
Ooh, I always talk about purpose, passion, and profit. And it sounds like you got your purpose fully aligned.
Come on,
you know what you meant to do.
Hands down.
So what affirmed what your purpose was for you? Like what was that moment, if you can remember the moment, or many moments that showed you like, yo, this is what God has for me?
I can't say it was always clear.
Okay.
But I will say in my path and in my journey, motivational speaking has kind of always been the forefront. And even when I was young, I never forget, I used to imitate being a pastor. I think every kid's been at that point, but I've been in front of my mom and my brothers and my sisters, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give y'all a sermon today, and I go to playing, and halfway through that playing, it gets real.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a word right there.
Now, the funny thing is, I would be in school, and I wasn't the best writer. So I write these essays, and then you got to get out and present. And so I get up there and I present and I never look at my paper. Never look. And I get done and I get the grade back and it says presentation, A. Paper, D. I'm like, what? Because I didn't say what I wrote on that paper because I wasn't a strong writer.
Word.
But I knew for a fact when I got in front of people, I knew what I wanted to say. I just didn't know how to put it in words and in writing.
Yeah.
And so for me, I feel like being a person that understood that my voice can be something I could use as my gift. Right? Because the teachers could easily tell me, man, you're not smart, you're not good at this subject.
Yeah.
But the one thing they couldn't say is I wasn't good at building relationships.
Yeah.
I wasn't good at speaking and talking my mind and really connecting people. You know, that I've always had. And so I feel like my journey has always just led me down this path to where now the stage is set, the platform is there.
Yeah.
I got to take advantage of my opportunity because this is my moment. I ain't gonna get this again.
That's a word, right? So my viewers know, right? We have a very similar passion and purpose in that motivational space, in that connecting space, in that elevating folks to the next level, confidence, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking with my son and my daughter the other day. We obviously we have conversations all the time, but as they're getting older, we're really having conversations about where they're going, what their strengths are, things of that nature. And my son was talking about choir class, whatever. And he was like, I don't want to be in choir in middle school, right? Plays and all of that stuff. And I was like, bro, you know what's wild? I was in choir in middle school, and I remember many different things. But I remember being in choir in middle school, doing solos in the choir plays and whatnot, and that gave me so much confidence. It allowed me to exercise my confidence, right? For you talk about being a preacher as a kid, right? and playing in that space, being able to speak up in class and kill the presentation part. What gave you that level of confidence as a youth?
My mom, hands down. My mom always said to us when we were young, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Word.
And so I think it was just, from the Boys and Girls Club to, being outside with my boys in the streets, right? Really doing a little bit of everything. But the thing that it was always common was, I think, on the football field, where I would say I probably built my first set of confidence.
Okay.
Because, I didn't have a father. He wasn't present.
Okay.
But I did have coaches.
Word.
I had big brothers that were present. And so the first time I caught a football, I never forget my oldest brother was like, man, you called it. He went around, he celebrated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you get that kind of feeling if I just catch this?
Yeah.
So the first day of practice, coach is like, who can catch? I'm like, me. Throw the ball, I catch. He like, oh, let's go. He hyping me up.
Yeah.
But this was the first time that a strong male figure has gave me that kind of confidence. So I'm like, okay, so if I just do this, I'm gonna get celebrated.
Yeah.
And so I think just being good on the football field kind of led to being confident in other areas.
100%.
And so my favorite subject was math.
Okay.
So when we did those little math drills and you got it like time the test, you're gonna kill me in the reading part.
Yeah.
But this is a competition. I would destroy everybody. I go around the world and I destroy everybody in it. And so, but that built my confidence up because I knew that I was good at that. And so I think for a lot of times, I knew where to be confident and where not to be confident. Because if we did popcorn and it was time to read out loud, man, I ain't confident. I'm putting my head down.
Yeah.
Don't call on me.
Yeah.
Seriously, don't pick me.
Yeah.
But when it came down to something or a space that I could excel in, you couldn't shut me up. Hands down.
From an early age.
From an early age.
That's power. Strengths and opportunity areas at an early age, is something I think that just self-awareness is major, which is a great segue to our next section of the conversation, right?
Okay.
So this is called a room full of mirrors. And what I love about a room full of mirrors, if you solo in a room full of mirrors, you can't help but see yourself. You see what's in front of you. You can actually see your blind spots from a peripheral perspective. And with that mirror reflecting, you can see what's behind you, right? And it's not many spaces that you can see all of yourself. So we in this room full of mirrors, Coach Cheese. Tell me, what is the last thing that you had to unlearn about yourself?
Whew. I'll probably say honesty.
Okay. Talk to me.
You know, I think that, you know, being a confident person, you almost have to portray that, and being a public figure, you always got to portray yourself and like you got it figured out.
Word.
But in all reality, I don't. And I know I don't.
Yeah.
And so to try to mask it as if I do know how to figure it out, is the hardest thing I've been dealing with.
Ooh.
Because I'm like, man, you know how many people depend on me?
Yeah.
Like, for real, so many people depend on me to where it's like, man, I can't show that I don't know something, but I will figure it out.
Okay.
That's no question. I will figure it out, but man, to sit back and be like, man, I know when I'm weak.
Yeah.
I know when I'm scared. I know when I doubt. I know when I struggle. I mean, those things, is, you know, I got to be honest with myself. Like, I can't always do it myself.
Yeah.
Some things are bigger than and greater than my control. And so growing up, I used to always say, you know, my favorite scripture, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 4, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to our own understandings, but acknowledge him in all our ways, and he will direct our path.
100.
I think a lot of times I was too busy trying to direct my own path. And so as I'm trying to direct my own path, man, I'm only losing out on other opportunities and other things that really God was trying to teach me lessons. And I wasn't trying to learn those lessons.
Hard-headed.
Hard-headed, too much of an ego.
Yeah.
You know, but so when I'm honest with myself and I realize I can't do this by myself. But when he stepped in that picture,
Yeah.
come on, man, it's on.
It's on and pop. So what's the most recent moment that made you say, damn, I can't do it all alone?
Man, I'd probably say my brother, my nephew, one of my coworkers, the businesses that hired me, they put all this on me like, hey, can you do this? And I'm like, yes. Hands down, I'm like, yeah, I can do it. Right, and so as they're giving me all these things to figure out, these problems to figure out, now from family to business to all these networking spaces, I'm like, man, this is hard.
Yeah.
And when things aren't working, that doubt begins to sink in more and more. And I'm like, man, I don't know how to do this.
You talking to yourself, or you
to
sharing?
myself.
Okay.
Like I said weeks ago, this was like a few weeks ago, I'm like, how do I do this? How do I bring it all together? Like, I see it and I know it's there, but I just don't know. And so 2 things I learned. One was, to certain people, I can't be God. I would try to fix people's problems when that wasn't my job to fix their problems.
Come on.
My job was just to be next to them so they knew they wasn't alone as they were going through their problems.
Oh, you wanted to be a preacher when you was a kid.
Nah,
but you preaching right now.
It ain't, nah.
Because that's a word, bro. And I see it a lot of times with, dare I say, like strong brothers. Like brothers who have the capability to execute, right? And sometimes we get in over our heads because we like, yo, this ain't nothing to me. And then this might be easy. This thing I need to execute on might be easy, but I didn't consider, as I'm trying to execute on this, everything else that's coming to me, right? So keep going. Sorry, that just.
But that's real though, right?
Yeah.
That is real, and I think that's the mindset is, you know, I'm over here trying to do one part here, but then I got other things that are pulling. I got people that are stacking things on me, and so where I found my outlet, is when I touch the stage, and I get to speak, because I can't control it at some point.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, imagine taking all these things and wrapping in one and knowing it's on my mind and like trying to figure out a way to communicate it, but can't. But the crazy part is, because I'm, man, so buried in this and so overcome by it, when I step on that stage, this is where that rose spout. I mean, you see that rose like come full circle, hands down, because I'm taking all these problems and I'm realizing the best way for me to solve these problems is through my voice on this stage. You know what I mean, the connections, the opportunities that when I open my mouth come.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing, it's like, okay, now I can take this person from this situation to this situation because I met this person that actually deals with these kind of issues. And so now I can say honestly to myself, it's like, okay, I don't need to handle everybody's problems. I don't even need to put this on me. Instead, what I need to do is be honest with myself on what I can control, I control. What I can't control, I let go of. Faith is not, just saying the words. Faith is really relaxing during the stress.
100%.
Right? So when you say most people tense up, it's I got faith, but you stress creates tension. That ain't faith.
Yeah.
Right? Think about fear though. What does fear do? Fear frees you in your tracks.
Facts.
Right? And so you get tense, you scared, you nervous. But with faith, it tells you relax. When you know for a fact that he's going to go before you and handle that situation that is already done,
Yeah.
man, you can just relax in it. Because you know the plan is greater. But if you think that you're the plan and you think you're the answer, you're going to lose every time. You can't be the answer.
Come on. Nobody's bigger than the program.
100%. So I had to be honest with myself. I'm not the answer.
Yeah. How did it feel once you were honest with yourself and you also found a way to execute and still get it done? Like, because through that honesty, you had that reflection. It was like, okay, this is what needs to be done. How did it feel once you was like, whoo, lesson learned?
If you constantly pouring out your cup, but you have no one filling your cup back up, imagine when you say, okay, now my cup then got bigger. And I know for a fact that it's a pitcher, it's a waterfall that just constantly pouring into me now.
Yeah.
Because I can relax. That ain't my stress. That ain't my problem.
Yeah.
And I ain't saying your problems other people's problems are important.
For sure.
But it's like, I know for a fact that I can't solve every person's problem. But what I can do is I can help them navigate through their problems. I can help be a listening ear. I can be a shoulder to lean on. I can just be somebody that can just be present in that room next to them so they realize they ain't going through this battle alone.
100%.
And sometimes that's all we need, right? I'm not trying to enable somebody. I'm trying to empower somebody.
Facts.
And if I can empower them, I know for a fact they can get to that situation, but not only their situation, when other people around them go through that situation, they now know the tools and the power so they can get them through it.
That part.
That's how we win.
That part. Ooh, makes me think of the difference between a boss and a leader. A boss tells folks what to do, is in charge. A leader is taking the charge with them in a support role.
100%.
Ooh, come on, man.
If I can remove myself, because you have a better capability, your capabilities are better than mine to execute at this high level, I need to remove myself and let you do your work, and I need to become the supporting role.
That part. I
don't need the attention. I don't need the glory. That's going to come with it. First should be, what do they say? The first should be last and the last should be first.
Yeah.
If you can put yourself last and support everybody else, man, they only going to elevate you.
Come on. This is normally the part of the conversation where somebody give me something so real, I'm like, we don't even got to talk no more. Because you gave me that real. But man, I'm gonna hit another segment of mine, man. And this one is called If I Ruled the World. And this is always acknowledged Nasir Jones, right? Lauren Hill, one of my favorite songs, If I Ruled the World, great affirmation. But if you were in charge of the world, your world, which you are in charge of, right? But if you had to influence one thing about culture or community, what would it be?
Man, I'm only excited because I'm doing that.
Okay.
So my mindset right now and this power that I'm walking with is EPE.
Okay.
Every person empowered. And so when you think about culture, when you think about community, imagine if I told you I could show you a pathway for you to succeed.
Okay.
Regardless of who you are and regardless of where you at. Don't matter your skin color, don't matter your gender, don't matter how much money you got, don't matter where you came from, none of that. What if I can connect you to a pathway that can help you reach your goals regardless of where you are?
You the plug. Talk to me. Keep
100%.
going. Yeah.
Right, so I'm not joking. When I say I believe that I figured out the pathway to change the world, I mean it. I mean it, hands down, with all confidence in the world. And it ain't even, let me phrase it, not change the world, impact the world.
Okay.
Right? He can change the world.
Yeah.
I can't, but he can use me as a tool to impact this world, to create that change. But it's gonna still take all of us to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And so a lot of people say we need to give to these charities. And they imagine if you're a person and you feel like you're charity. What kind of confidence is that gonna build in you?
Okay.
But what if I teach you that, hey, I wanna invest in you? Instantly you say, okay, I'm valuable. There's something that I have that the world needs.
Yeah.
Somebody believes in me. And so a prime example is, imagine this kind of world for a second.
Okay.
Imagine these nonprofits that are grassroots inside the community that are teaching people the processes and the tools to become independent, right? Creating this economic mobility where they learn how to budget, they learn how to plan, they learn how to dream, and then they learn how to execute, right? So you got that side. But then imagine they get connected with a business over here saying, hey, I have this business, but the thing I'm missing is I'm missing people to help me grow this business. And these are jobs for $50,000 a year starting. And they say, but in order to get this job, it's gonna take 6 to 8 weeks of training at a WSU Tech. So then we say, okay, well, how do we take the people from these community hubs to WSU Tech then? Well, the Kansas Promise Act that lets everybody know that WSU Tech is free right now.
Okay.
You can go there for free, pay for.
Yeah.
Take any one of these courses, learn any one of these trades. So now you go there, and while you're going there, you actually still have the support system here where you're learning how to do these things. So now you learn how to keep a job. This right here is gonna create a new pathway for you to get the job. And now the moment you graduate, you know these opportunities over here exist because we already connected the dots because they said, here's the need. We just need we need people. So boom, let's plug them. So now this person right here now has a $50,000 job. But here's the problem. The moment we hit success, we move out the hood.
Keep talking to me.
So who's gonna navigate the people that's in the hood now? Who's gonna motivate them? Instead, what you do is you move into these houses, you change your clothes, you go back to the hood, and there's a disconnect. Right? Because everything, they know you ain't living day to day like they, it's different.
Yeah.
But imagine though, if we could create an affordable housing inside the hood where these are nice houses.
Yeah.
So where we begin to transform the hood step by step.
Almost like gentrification, but in favor of those who are still there.
Come on. And so now imagine a young man that looks out across the street and sees his house. Or imagine a family and says, man, what do you do for a living? And you say, man, I'm a machinist.
Yeah.
It took me 18 weeks. It took me 12 weeks, and I'm a machinist now over here. And it says, whoa, you living in a house like this, you driving a car, and you're a machinist?
Yeah.
That's unheard of. And you live across the street. But now what that does is it provides hope for that young man or to that family, like, oh, it's possible.
Yeah.
They see that pathway. They realize, like, right now, when I think about growing up, man, I always saw the same thing. I saw these Impalas with rims. I saw the chains. I saw the girls, all these things. But not a single one of the people that was doing those things was working a 9 to 5.
Right. And if I want those things, I need to be doing what they doing.
Come on. But that's all I know, though.
That's all you know.
That's all I know. So it's like, bet, plug me in. How do I want that.
Yeah.
But imagine now if we could change the narrative. Because a lot of these cats got older now, and they realize, like, man, you know what? That kind of sucked, always looking over my shoulder.
Right.
Always worried. Man, that's tension all the time.
All the time.
And so imagine if we can say, hey, I can remove that tension from you. I can actually put you on game where 50,000 start, 100,000 in 6 months to a year, like we can really win. And then I taught you already these principles on how to save money, how to budget, how to use it.
Yeah.
Then you take that money and invest it. You ain't got to be a machinist all your life, but guess what? That's a great starting point.
100%.
But then once your money begin to work for you, you own.
So, and it sounds like through the, because you said you ain't just imagining ruling the world. This is the plan.
Okay,
This is the thing that you already putting in place.
Not me.
Not you.
All of us.
Collectively.
It already exists.
Yeah.
So places like Build and Rebuild, that's the navigation. That's the navigating hub to get to WSU Tech into any of these places.
And a lot of folks don't even know that that's available.
Don't even exist.
Wow.
WSU Tech, it's already here. The Kansas Promise Act already exists.
Yeah.
So it's already there. Candace Harding, Steve Philmyer, they're already working with Habitat for Humanity, are already working on these affordable homes.
Yeah, shout out to Danielle Johnson over at Habitat. Yes.
So it's already in place. I just sat down in a meeting with downtown Wichita and all these businesses, and they're like, hey, we want to grow these ecosystems.
Yeah.
And my next words to them is, how can we grow these ecosystems? How can we invite people to our home if it's dirty? So rather than trying to attract new people, how about we invest in these communities? I mean, I was raised 67214, Pyatt.
Yeah.
21st and in that neighborhood, in that area, it's like, there's so much potential.
100%.
But we got to connect people to that path so they know that it's possible. And so now when you begin to do that, you begin to change more than this, what you think, right? Because a lot of people look for an escape.
Yeah.
And the escape becomes drugs, drinking, right? There's a ton of addictions out there that we all have.
Come on.
Because it takes us out of our reality.
Yeah.
Why are we trying to escape our reality? Because it sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. But if you see a clear path and you know that it's possible for you to touch it, for you to get it,
Yeah.
now you're like, all right, let me put that to the side because I want this.
100%.
I love how this feels. Ain't no how in the world feel better than your bank account actually having enough.
Come on. Come on.
No, nothing feel better than that.
Come on, I can do what I want when I want.
100%.
Or I can look at what I have and budget it correctly.
Come on, but we in survival mode at all times. And a lot of times survival mode only means we just haven't sat down and we don't understand finances well enough to be able to get ourselves out of that situation. Because you're probably making enough, but don't realize that.
That's the challenge.
Now, what if we begin to use that, right? And now we begin to build something. And so then we say to people that say, well, I got a record. Well, man, I can't get a house because I broke this lease, and because I broke this lease, this took place.
Okay, yeah.
But now we got to work with the government to say, hey, wait a minute, you mean to tell me it takes 3 years to get this record off? But this person is trying. They made a mistake, or they couldn't afford it.
Right.
So they got to suffer because they got laid off or they got fired from a job, and now they trying to do right, but they got to suffer still. Man, we all make mistakes. We all mess up. The sad part is, I think when we mess up, though, we so quick to just judge and point at a person and keep them down in their situation so we can look better. Man, scratch that.
Or folks mess up and they don't see the path of
to get out.
Yeah.
So it becomes a hole, and they just dig themselves deeper and deeper, and the people around them don't see. They just record it.
Come on.
But if we really begin to help each other out, really begin to navigate, man, we can build our own ecosystem.
Yeah.
To where now you got small businesses actually moving back in the hood because you got people that are actually contributors now. I mean, we got a food desert in these lower income communities, but 100%. These food deserts won't exist if there's enough people in those communities that can afford to pay for the groceries.
Yeah.
Because now it's opportunity.
Come on.
And to the government, we said, hey, listen, these are going to be new people that's actually adding to our economy.
Yeah.
They're adding to our, so if you're willing to meet us halfway, we're going to meet you the other half and we're going to really win.
And that's the conversation that's happening.
That's the conversation that's happening right now. So here's the thing. Now, the government wins. The businesses win because they got career-ready people that's ready and these employees, right?
Yeah.
You got the communities winning because now they elevating and growing out of their own. I mean, now Wichita as a whole wins.
Now you got people that are here not necessarily looking to leave, right? Because they appreciate what they indeed have.
100%. And now you begin to grow that, right?
Yeah.
So now you think about Wichita as a place of opportunity, a place of hope, 100%. A place of possibilities.
Yeah.
People move here because they see that people are thriving out of their situations. Like, that's how we really change it. Not just Wichita, that's how we change the world.
Come on. Full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah.
And so most of the time when I'm in these places, I'm like, man, we could really do this.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything crazy. The only thing I said was, all these things already exist. It just takes somebody that's willing to step out there and connect the dots, connect the people, and push it, and continue to push it, and don't let it die.
Cool. You know, something that I've seen success, the resistance I see a lot of time is community, right? The urban community, the hood, black folks, they are folks who are looking for ways to grow, but still have like a fixed mindset, right? So then they don't trust what some of our allies might look like.
Nah, but you gotta realize, it ain't even that.
Yeah.
They just don't know it's possible.
Word.
The problem with education is the lack of education. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because if I knew that these opportunities actually existed,
Yeah.
then I would actually try and apply myself to make it happen.
Yeah.
It don't matter, man. It don't matter what you look like.
But so many people feel like
so
that.
many people feel like it, right?
And
because that's a victim mindset.
Part.
But it's only a victim mindset because they push it. And then we push it on ourselves.
We believe it.
Come
when
on.
there's really folks out there, like I think of like a Mike Ramsey, right? So my wife is part of the garages. And there might have been a little bit of a hesitation because it's like, yo, it's not a lot of people that look like me in some of these rooms having these conversations. But then you get into these rooms and it's like, oh, they have my best interest at heart. It's business. It's not a personal thing even, right? And then through conversation, through rapport building, through relationship building, then it becomes a personal thing. And it's like, yo, I really rock with this person outside of the business, right? And I've seen it so often, that hesitation. I had a conversation with Christina Long on an episode a while ago, and we were talking about that even. Like, yo, how do we build trust when a lot of the access to these resources don't look like us? And people are so resistant to it. And yeah, I get it. You know, you got your systematics. It's layered. We ain't gonna get into all of that. But it's also two sides of every coin.
Figure out how to work the system in your favor.
Come on.
Prime example. They just put tariffs on all these other countries.
Go ahead.
That's got to bring business back here. Who gonna work? Who gonna do these jobs?
Yeah.
They need us. They need us.
Yeah.
Now these businesses are back. Who's gonna fill these jobs? And if we take advantage of this opportunity, we can really elevate ourselves.
Yeah.
There's no leverage when you have nothing to give. Like it ain't. When I say, man, listen, if we really want to win, we got to come together for real. We can't sugarcoat it. If you see your brother drowning over here, you can't record him. You got to save him. Here's the thing,
bruh.
And you might say, I can't swim either. Well, go find somebody that can.
Come on.
You know, but when you glorify the wrong things, it ain't even like we can't have nice things. We can have nice things, but man, you can't glorify these things. I think that if you want to get rid of all the serial killers and all these people doing this crazy stuff, quit giving them a name.
Bruh.
Call them a blank name. Don't even give them a face. Don't put their name out there. Don't highlight it.
Yeah. We love...
Because then it kills it.
We love the negativity. I think
Come
Kanye,
on.
right? And Ye is always on some extras. But I use him as the prime example of if you don't pay attention to it, if you don't give it credit, and we highlight what needs to be highlighted,
Come on.
then that stays where it's at, and that dies out. That little fire over there burns out because we ain't fanning the fire, right? And that happens too often. Man, you said, dang, I just lost it, but it was like you was alluding to the game pretty much. Like, yo, we want to play, but we got to learn how to play the game, essentially.
100%.
Like, if we want to be in the game, we got to play the game.
We got to leverage.
We got to leverage it.
And how do you leverage it? You become a contributor.
Yeah.
Because if you now have the finances and you're not dependent because your finances are now working for you, then you got more freedom to actually maneuver the way you want to maneuver.
100%.
But we can't do it in our own silos. We got to do it in our ecosystem. And here's the thing. It ain't about getting the upper hand on this side or that side, not because we all need it. There's people on this side of the community. They need it. There's people on this side of the community. I mean, every community is different.
100%.
But you got white poor people, you got black poor people, you got Mexican poor people, Asian, like everybody. I mean, this exists.
Yeah.
The thing is, if we put the right navigators in places, I mean, we all can elevate ourselves. Like that's what is bigger to me.
Off top.
And I believe that, you know, how do we do this at scale though?
Okay.
How do you make it to where it's cool? How do you make it to where everybody hears it? You find a centerpiece that connects them. So for us, imagine now we're taking something like Somewhere Fest.
Okay.
This music festival.
Yeah.
We bring in hip hop, EDM. And now we're gonna be able to connect the people from this festival to the EP block party that's happening, where these nonprofits exist with Stand Together and the Kansas Health Foundation that are helping navigate people to these solutions and these opportunities. So you're going for music, but you actually gonna get connected to the source. And by connecting to the source, you actually gonna have an opportunity to elevate yourself. We're gonna go from good to great.
That part.
I mean, we good.
Yeah.
We might think we like, man, we really good, but seriously, how do you go from good to great? And that's how.
100%.
And so imagine now, everybody understands music. It's a universal language.
Facts.
Now, if we use that tool and that platform to get the people to say, hey, this is how we all come together, how we all work together. I mean, last year we did it. There was 12,000 people in downtown Wichita.
Yeah.
No crime, no issues,
Yeah.
none of that. Right? Now imagine this year, man, we're gonna get 25,000 down there. Can we keep the same energy going?
That part.
Like, I believe in you.
Yeah.
I'm not your enemy. I think we look at each other like that's my enemy, and it's not. We're not enemies.
Yeah.
I'll never be your enemy. I'm your brother.
Come on.
And I promise you, I'm doing everything I can to help you. And because I want you to win.
Yeah.
Because, man, check it like this.
Yeah.
I want to protect my kids. I got 3. I want to protect them. But I know it's going to come a time in life where I cannot be present to protect them.
Yeah.
So the only thing I can do is use my platform, use my gifts, my skills to help change this world to where they don't have to need any protection.
Yeah.
How many other kids gonna come after me? How many people came before me? So when I walk, I don't walk like I'm alone. When I'm in a room and I know I'm the only black person in that room,
Yeah.
I'm carrying so many other people with me. So yeah, you might not look like me, but you don't need to.
Yeah.
Because it's bigger than me. What Nino Brown say is bigger than Nino Brown.
Bigger than Nino Brown.
But that's real though.
Yeah.
I walk into that room knowing that this is my one opportunity to show that black people can do it.
100%.
That we can succeed. 100%. And then, you know, when that conversation happens, it's not about, you know, we really just say, you know, everybody push DEI. Man, nah, it's EPE.
Yeah.
Every person empowered because everybody wins.
Yeah.
You can't expect something if you're not willing to give something.
Ooh, everything costs. Everything
on.
worth something costs something.
100%.
Yeah.
But if you work it together, we all win at the end of the day.
100%.
Like imagine walking from Wichita State all the way down to the Wave or to Somewhere Fest. Where you're not getting chased by dogs.
Yeah.
Where you don't see trash everywhere. You think somebody wakes up and say, damn, I got all this trash in my front yard. I love seeing this.
Come on.
You think, nah. If everybody had the opportunity and had a pathway to where they see themselves in a better state, I promise you it looks way better.
Yeah.
And they don't gotta be crazy, don't gotta be outrageous, it can be simple.
100%.
But to know that you have food in your fridge, that right there is a great day for somebody.
Yeah.
To know for a fact that your kids can come home and there's food on the table. Man, come on, imagine that. Imagine being able to get inside of a car that works.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's about. And I know for a fact we think sometimes like, man, there's a lot of strong, independent women. But they ain't gotta be independent.
They don't gotta be independent.
We gotta step up.
They don't gotta be strong.
Come
They
on.
just gotta be.
They just gotta be.
Yeah.
Same thing with the fathers.
100%.
But if we begin to work together as a community, it's like a potluck. If we can all bring something to the table,
Yeah.
we can all eat. We can all win.
Preaching.
Nah, it ain't even.
No,
Man,
and let me not say preaching, but I say preaching in the sense of like, yo, it's
teaching.
It's teaching. It's giving the game. It's
100%.
letting folks know what's available. It's taking what you know, what you have access to, what's tangible, and letting the world around you know, like, yo, this is what's available with conviction. Because a lot of times it could be a flyer posted and it's like you just see it.
Come on.
But a lot of it takes that level of conviction, that level of authoritative speaking to get that word across, bro. And a lot of folks don't hear it unless it comes out like that. Well, we also know on the other side of that, some folks, man, I've been in different conversations, corporate, political, and it'll happen to be like advertised or on film or whatever. And my inbox is like full of disrespect from people that look like me, right? Oh, you cooning, you are Uncle Tom. And I'm like, bro, the same way I'm showing up talking to you is the same way I'm in these rooms. And I'm in these rooms trying to elevate us, right? how am I cooning? How am I Uncle Tom? And when I'm having a conversation that benefits us to the best, right? Have you ran into that where it's like you show up where God is leading you to show up, but then people like you don't see the vision, and so they offer commentary that is non-productive?
To be honest,
Yeah.
no. Because some of my partners to this day ain't changed
100%.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
So when you think about my partner Poohef,
Shout out to Poohef.
you know what it is when you see him.
Yeah.
You know what he went through, all the stuff, like, bro, but I was with him every step of the way. My boy Shadow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't change who I am as a person.
Yeah.
I stay connected. This is who I grew up with. Brock and Brooke, Will Polite. I mean, this is, man, the community I was raised in.
Yeah.
You know, I remember these things. I remember I ain't never changed who I was as a person. They know I care about them. If I was down to my last, but you needed, I got you.
Yeah.
Hands down, they ain't changed. To this day.
Yeah.
Now, I don't be involved in some of the same situations I was involved in back then. I grew, but here's the thing. I didn't grow and turn my back. I grew and put a ladder. So my partner gets out of jail and he right back on his comedy. Right on his comedy.
Yeah.
So if I see an opportunity, I'm like, hey, bro, here's an opportunity for you. Here, let's go.
100%.
Man, at Somewhere Fest, they called me and they was like, hey, we need staff.
Yeah.
What I do, I call Dez, I call all these people, like, hey, bro, you know somebody that need a job real quick, paying X amount, I'm gonna put y'all on. 2 days, you can make $450, $500. Come on. Phone got the ring, boom, show up. And the funny thing is, man, we showed up, we had cats with ankle monitors, we had cats with babies, it was crazy. But you know what's crazy? You know how much love we got for the staff that was there?
Yeah.
Everybody like, man, how long has your team been together? How long have you been doing this? And I started laughing. I'm like, man, I just met him. You know, but that was real. But here's the thing. What I told them in that room was, I don't care what set you from.
Yeah.
I don't care what your situation is. This is an opportunity. Hands down. You take advantage of this opportunity, you're going to win.
Off top.
It's going to connect us to way more opportunities. You know, I'm going to plug you in here.
Yeah.
And they did it, man. They took it to the whole next level, man. And I was grateful for that, because afterwards, everybody said, man, that's the best staff they ever had. I mean, seriously. And it was like, how did you do it?
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't. All I did was let them see the vision.
Share a vision. Without a vision, the people perish.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. So, man, I'm grateful I ain't never seen that ain't nobody ever, here's the thing. Man, you can call me what you want to call me. But I ain't never changed who I am as a person.
Yeah.
That's why I said I'm Coach Cheese to the soul.
Off top.
So if you know me, you know me.
Off top.
I'm Marquis to the soul. You know, and if you catch me in the room and you say, you know, man, you used to be like this, you used to be like that, or you did this and you did that. Yeah, man, I'm not perfect. I'm never gonna be perfect. I'm gonna make mistakes. But I promise you, if I can help you in any way, I'm gonna help you.
That part.
And if I can diffuse situations, I'm gonna diffuse it. Man, I remember taking Mac Dre and Ray Jr. and putting them in the same room. Neither one of them knew they were coming. They had just got into it weeks prior.
Yeah.
But I know both sides. So I called him like, hey, bro, meet me over here. We're going to go eat real quick. Bet. Called up, bet. Hey, bro, come over here. Mind you, I know what they just got done doing, trying to do to each other. One of them show up. What up, bro? The other one show up like, whoa, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
But because I was in the middle, they knew what it was.
100%.
They knew there was two cats that both got the same mission of getting themselves out of the situations they in, of growing and maneuver, to that next level. They just got caught in this kind of situation. But I'm like, y'all solid cats.
Yeah.
We need y'all. Y'all soldiers, y'all generals. If you take a general and you take them out, we can't lead. Y'all leading way too many people to where if we actually took that energy and applied it in the right direction, man, we can really grow this thing.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, for both sides of the tracks, man, but I'm with it.
100%.
I believe in every single person because I know we can win. So, nah, man, I ain't never had that.
I love that. Your reputation it precedes you. I remember being a kid, man. And it's funny you mentioned Pie because I grew up off 16th and Gentry, 17th and Gentry, right across from Fairmount Park, but also down the street from Pie Park.
Yeah.
So 1821 North Pie is where I was at. And I remember as a youth, I didn't play football, but a lot of the homies did, a lot of my cousins did. I remember hearing Coach Cheese all the time, right? So it's dope to hear you are still a leader in what you do. from a baby to now, right? And that only comes from being consistent, being on purpose, being intentional, being surrounded by folks who believe in you, pour into you, so then you can pour out what you got inside you and get filled back up.
100%.
Let's talk a little bit about your journey, right? You know, I do a little bit of research,
Okay.
because I like to know who I'm sitting down with, Coach Cheese, man. And speaking of football, you was one of them, right? And you had football aspirations, NFL aspirations, right? Being as nice as you was on the field and not seeing your NFL dreams come to fruition, right? What did that do to you, and how did it influence and inspire your life mission?
You know, I tell people that, you know, when you start thinking about the Arthur Browns and the Bryce Browns and the DeMonte Hills and the Gary Chandlers, when it comes to sports, like that was a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Right? They had this natural gift. And they worked for it, and I had to work for mine as well. But for me, it was almost like football was my passion.
Okay.
And I loved it. But it was also my escape. Right? The reason why I finished high school is because of football. I wanted to play in college.
Yeah.
The reason why I finished college, you know, is because I wanted to continue to play football.
Yeah.
And so when my opportunity presented itself with the Chiefs, I can't say, it was funny. I had a motivational speaking opportunity at Curtis Middle School. And the Chiefs called me about a month prior saying, hey, we got a workout for you. So I tell them, I'm like, hey, is it possible to push it back?
So you pushed the Chiefs back, not Curtis back. Oh, keep talking to me. Come on.
I made a promise and a commitment to Curtis Middle School.
Yeah.
And I never forget, Ann Mackey, she said to me, she was like, yo, these kids need you. And to me, I'm like, no, I know the kids need me. But hey, listen, this is my shot. You know, this is my shot right here. Like, I gotta go. But it was like, man, how many lives? And not granted, I ain't saying I'm the greatest speaker of all times, but man, how many lives can I change and impact if I cancel that speech? Right? So, you know, I end up doing that and still got my opportunity.
Yeah.
Get my opportunity. I'm not joking. Funny thing is, I get in the room with Ray Farmar and Scott Pioli, who's the GM and director of player personnel, and I'm sitting down with them, and as we talking, you know, they tell me, what's my plan B? And I say, motivational speaking. And I get like this, right? I get to telling them and all this stuff, and they look, they start laughing. 30 minutes later. So we in there for a minute, 30 minutes later, they're like, hey, you know, we love you, we think you're a great player and all that stuff, but for the most part, yeah, this ain't what you meant to do. This your backup plan. I'm like, man, come on now, this ain't my backup plan. What's first?
Yeah.
Motivational speaking, helping people, building communities, like that's first. You know, if I fast to try to backtrack, like, no. You know what? You know, I can wait, but if I got this platform, but they was real. And they told me, they was like, man, you gonna make it. You'll be good for a couple years, and then, you know, that's probably it. But when you look at this side of things, man, you're gonna be way more successful on this side than you will this side.
They seen it.
They seen it, hands down.
They seen that passion
Seen
as you spoke about it.
100%. And the crazy thing, the sad thing is, I didn't want to see it.
Ooh,
That
running
hurt
from
me.
it.
Man, that hurt me. Man, I've been running for years. You see me every now and then do a speech and get on my motivation on Facebook and on social media, get on and get off. Man, and probably, you know, that would have been 13 years ago, 14 years ago. Now it's finally coming full circle.
Something I talk about a lot of time on this show, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, is the 3 Ps, right? Purpose, passion, and profit. And I believe, right, that obviously your purpose is given to you. You don't get to choose your purpose, right? God puts that on your heart. I say it every episode, bro. It shows up wherever you are when you are at your best, and it's what makes the environment that you are in that much better. Your passion, that's the stuff you love, right? And it just so happens to be the thing that you exercise your purpose through. So I'll provide the example, like I host events, I life coach, I rap, all of these things, and it gives me a space to exercise my purpose of elevating those around me to be the best version of themselves, right? But then the profit part comes in, right? And it's like, yo, but what's paying the bills, right? And I truly believe when you have all three of those aligned, life is perfect. So that makes 4 Ps. But if you have 2 of those, then you're grateful. You're in a good space. If you just got one of those things, then it's like, okay, where are we at? Where are we at? And so hearing the conversation you had with the folks at the Chiefs, and they heard your passion, right, when it came to motivational speaking. And you saying 13 years ago, now you really jumping into that space, and your OmniCut is motivational fitness, right?
Yeah.
So it's like your purpose
come on,
is everywhere you at,
100%.
right? What led you to a space of your fitness training being coined motivational fitness training?
So you start talking about the profit, right?
Yeah.
So imagine you got this a gift, you got these skills, and you want the motivational speaking. You have a story that you graduated college, right?
Yeah.
That you was raised by a single parent, that you know, struggled in school and education, and you went on to a good school and you graduated. That's millions of people that's done that.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't have a story. I didn't have a big enough story.
Okay.
That would move the needle, but it wasn't going to change anything. And so what I said to myself was, I'm going to use fitness as my tool to fund motivational speaking. And I just happened to, granted, I wasn't that good at fitness, but like I said, I could talk. And so I'm in here and I'm training people and I'm getting them excited, but I'm realizing that all these different people I'm training, I'm empowering. Man, they come back and they so hyped, they so excited. They're a whole new person.
Yeah.
And I see people transform and I'm like, man, not only they transform physically, but also mentally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man. And so as we began to build this thing and grow this thing, you know, it was along those lines of, man, people need this. Like, people really need this. And so over time, I began to attract CEOs, presidents of companies, CFOs, all these high net worth individuals who I would think, oh, they got it figured out. Oh, they got it together. No, they don't.
They don't.
You know, it's crazy part, they don't even put themselves first. And because they don't put themselves first, they actually see that all this work and success becomes a burden. They have no outlet. You know, when you go into a gym, you know, I tell people, if you want to be successful at being a personal trainer, follow the direct path and be like, okay, we're going to do this today, boom, 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 sounds good. If you want to be a phenomenal transformational coach, if you want to be somebody that can impact in this industry, you want to be successful, then you got to give them more. Create a space for them to be their most authentic self. I'm gonna talk to the CFO of this company the same way I'm talking to you right now.
Come on.
Right? But here's the thing, they know that.
Yeah.
Now, I can't sugarcoat it. I can't help it. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
So if you can just be authentic and be real and create that space for them, now they able to vent. You know how many tears I done shared with so many people? You know how many stories I done heard back where they shedding tears? Like, but that's relationship. It becomes a real brotherhood.
Yeah.
And the sad part about it is sometimes, you know, you grow so fast that you don't realize that. You know, and I mean, to this day, I feel bad because I had got to a point where I started going at this rapid pace.
Yeah.
And so if somebody would miss for a few weeks, I didn't call them back because I had somebody else coming in. And so imagine if I've been telling you my brother and we like this, we locked in, but yet I'm not calling you to check on you.
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking about those things. It's just growing. It's just happening so fast.
In the now.
In the now. But I still care about you.
Yeah.
I do care about you. I ain't turn my back. Like, I do. And so then, you know, over time, the price has to go up. And then when the price goes up, people are like, what do you mean? Like, I don't want to pay that price. So for me, I had to realize something very important. I'm like, the price you pay is different. It's about the value. This is an investment into yourself. My job is to hold you accountable for doing this work. Right? But I understand that I'm going above and beyond to deliver this.
Yeah.
But I also know that my window to do this is small. Right? But if I can empower other people to do this, then it keeps going. But without me.
Come on.
Because if it's all about me, we lose. If it's about us, we win.
100%.
So that's the next phrase. Like, okay, boom. And now because of this pathway, I got connected over here. Now I'm gonna tell you, this is full circle how God has been leading this whole thing.
Okay.
Right, check this out. All that happens, I start training these business CEOs. So I got these relationships over here. I still go and hang out with my partners over here from where I grew up.
Yeah.
A lot of them, if not all of them, worked with me. And I'm like, yeah, come on, I got you. I put them on. But it's crazy because I would bridge this gap and nobody knew.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
I don't know if I was talking to Pooh or I was talking with Desmond, and they explained that very thing you just said. They was like, I don't know if Coach Cheese know he bridging this gap.
Pooh always said to me, he was like, bro, I ain't never talked to a white person. I ain't never sat down and had no real conversation with a white person. Never. Until I came to your gym. 100%, man, mind you, my boy really there helping me organize, but people don't treat him like he was a janitor. They treat him like, hey man, thank you.
100%. 100%.
Hey man, hey, you got Merry Christmas, here go a Christmas gift.
Yeah. And that speaks volumes, not only to his character, obviously, and the work that he's doing, right? But also the space that you created.
Man, that's the mindset.
Yeah.
And so, full circle, now I'm in a position where I'm training somebody, and they're like, hey, can you help me over here in this space?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, because I have this network of people from the community where I can get the community people to go out there. I can also get these businesses to sponsor this.
I feel like you might have seen my questions. Is this what led you to collaborate with Chase Coke?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. So,
no, you good. Keep going.
Go ahead.
No, keep going. That was the question. What led to Chase Coke collaboration?
So with Chase Coke, I trained Chase at this point for about 4 or 5 years now.
Okay.
And while I'm training him, he tells me about this music festival called Elsewhere Fest. Now Somewhere Fest.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, here's where we at, and this is where I plan on getting there. He goes, how can you help? And so I kind of painted the picture like I can do these things. Granted, I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I could do it. And so I
Full circle to the earlier question.
Come on, man.
Keep going.
Right, it's real. It all aligns. But so imagine I go from this space and I call these businesses and I say, hey, here's this festival that's happening that I believe your employees will really enjoy. You should bring them out there. Then I'm going over to the community. I'm like, hey, here's what's happening. Here's some artists that's coming in town. Y'all need to get connected to this. Here goes some tickets. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
These companies pay for these tickets for y'all. Now imagine, now we got something going and we hit it off and huge success.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this was crazy. This was cool. Full circle story though. A lot of people don't know this about Chase, but Chase is very passionate about the community.
Okay.
And he's like, man, he was like, how do we take this and 100x it about social change? He was like, because that's what this is about. It's like, yeah, celebrating the music, but how do we use music as a platform to bring people together?
Yeah.
So then you bring in the works of Stand Together. This organization, this nonprofit organization that's about connecting the dots, connecting grassroots organizations, investing in leaders from the community.
Yeah.
Right? And so, boom, and now we on. And so now for me, they come back to me like, all right, Marquis, your role is we want you to be the brand ambassador.
Yeah.
We want you to get sponsorships over here, but we also want you to build relationships across the board in all these communities. And I'm like, bet.
Right.
As I'm navigating and trying to figure things out, I'm like, man, this is different. This is hard. This ain't easy.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm like, he's gonna be like this, but in reality, it's not. And so I'm in this learning phase.
Okay.
And if you ever, there's a book out there called Secret Science to Success.
Okay.
So I started reading this.
Yeah.
And as I'm reading it, it talks about this experiment phase. Well, you gotta experiment and you gotta learn, but you have to learn from what you experiment from so that you can grow. And as I begin to grow and as I begin to learn, I begin to navigate and realize some things. And so things begin to get in place and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. this is bigger.
Yeah.
So a traditional festival you go to and there's booths at a block party. Nah, man, imagine something like this, right? We want real change to happen.
Yeah.
But imagine you show up and let's say you in this classroom. And inside this classroom, there's a teacher in front of you. Now we're talking about education.
Yeah.
There's a teacher in front of you just teaching a lesson. You're an adult. And I'm sitting in the seat, and in front of me, there's 3 puzzles, plus a test.
Okay.
Each puzzle represents something different. While I'm doing this, the teacher's up here teaching about what's on this test. Here's the problem. This first puzzle you're trying to put together represents I haven't eaten in 24 hours. This next puzzle right here represents I don't know where I'm gonna sleep tonight. This last puzzle you're trying to put together is my daddy's at home beating up my mom every single night that I get home. And there's nothing I can do about it. You expect me to complete all 3 of these puzzles while listening to the teacher to take this test on life. What?
Yeah. And this is as an adult.
I'm 9 years old.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you're taking this as an adult.
Yeah.
You're doing this whole experiment as an adult, but guess what? This is Johnny's story at 9 years old. This is what Johnny has to deal with right now, every day. How do you expect him to succeed? What? How do you expect him to win? How can he focus on that teacher? He can't focus on the teacher.
Yeah.
He can care less. He's trying to navigate this situation right now, and no one's even told him how. He ain't got nobody to depend on.
Yeah.
It ain't, man, like, it's bigger. So imagine now that you tell people, like, the problem we have is not education, but it's the lack of education, not from just the students, but from the educators as well.
Yeah.
Man, one of the hardest stories I've ever heard is my wife tells me this story, and it's about a teacher that finds a kid's backpack. She opens it up and has all the snacks from the cafeteria that he took from lunch, put in his backpack. She opens the backpack, she sees it, she dumps it all in the trash in front of him. The young man is trying to take this food so his brothers and sisters can eat.
Yeah.
Come on, man, what?
Yeah.
You mean to tell me it was more important to dump it out in front of him knowing he's hungry? He's telling you something.
Right.
Listen.
Right.
You expect him to trust you now? How can he trust you?
That part.
You took his lifeline. You took food out of his brothers and sisters' mouth and decided it was a better idea to throw it in the trash because it was part of their system. It was part of the rules. Man, here's the thing. Look at this stuff and see if can this stuff expire by the time he makes it home. If it can't expire, I get it if it was milk, but it ain't milk.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. That just didn't sit right with me.
And that's a true story.
That's a true story.
That's probably happening.
No, that did happen.
That did happen.
And imagine when I heard that, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How was that? What sense does that make? And they're like, oh, well, we got these pantries and they can go to and get you from. Man, you don't want to be the kid where everybody knows is broke and ain't got nothing.
Come on.
Man, I don't want people to know I'm wearing hand-me-downs.
Come on.
Because they going to laugh at me. Once again, the lack of education, instead of us laughing at somebody who ain't got something, just be like, hey, man, here's what I got to give you.
Yeah. So everybody wants to feel safe. What's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs? The baseline is, do I feel safe?
Come on.
At home, do I feel safe? And then let's build after that.
Come on.
But if my baseline is I don't feel safe, I'm not fed, I can't learn.
Come
right?
on.
Now you're gonna get me thinking about the children, right? And the babies. But something I always see working with the youth, bro, is they don't have enough room to be kids.
No.
They go into these schools and dealing with life like that, right? It's even a poem I've seen, but it's such a real thing because I've seen it in real life tangible where it's like, yo, my mama dealing with what she dealing with, my daddy dealing with what he dealing with, so they ain't getting me ready for school. I got to get me and my brothers and sisters ready for school. Damn near missed the bus. We finally get to school and the teacher tripping with me because I don't got a pencil.
Man, come on, man. Man, imagine, this is real, man. Imagine a young man that knows for a fact that his daddy out here doing this.
Come on.
His mama out here doing this. He don't know the situation he gonna come home to. And you expect him to be all in?
Come on.
His mind is elsewhere. So what we saying is, hey, these little navigation centers that are inside the community, these should be places where kids can go.
Yeah.
And say, yo, I'm dealing with this. Can you help me?
Yeah.
On top of that, though, imagine the parents are only dealing with that because they don't think it's possible. They don't see a way out. So rather than dealing with just the kid, you actually deal with the parents and you show them pathways. So you got places like the Phoenix to deal with mental health and addiction. Mm-hmm. And this one place, this hub can actually connect you there in its own.
Yeah.
Then you take it a step further and you say, hey man, listen, your whole family can get out of the situation. There's hope. Mm-hmm. Here's how. It's gonna take you though.
Yes.
See, the kids is influenced by the parents. My son is 1.5, 4. I watch him mimic things I do.
Yeah.
So you want to influence a kid, you want to change a kid's life, start with the parent.
Facts.
Because they're going to be the greatest example. They're going to be the pipeline.
Yeah.
So that's why I care so much about this whole mission, because I realize that the tools, the opportunities exist.
Yeah.
But we have no one plugging people in and connecting the dots. But now, if we do this, and everybody's bought in, we all win.
Come on. How can folks hear more, see more, or read more information about the mission and the vision with the Build and Rebuild Foundation, Stand Together, what you're doing with Somewhere Fest? Where can they get that tangible? Like, okay, I done watched the interview, I done heard you talk about it. Now I want to go. I need to go learn more. Right? Where can they go for that?
So the best place to get all this information that you're hearing is first off Somewhere Fest.
Okay.
This happened in June 13th and 14th because these navigation centers are actually going to be elevated at these spaces.
Okay.
So that's a great connection. The other one is there's a website coming out called The State of Our City.
Okay.
That's going to highlight all these different nonprofits and the work they're doing and how you can get connected with them.
I love that.
Right, and so now you're going to see it firsthand. Here's the real data that states the problems that we're having right now. Mm-hmm. And here's how you get connected to the solutions. Okay. And you can go right there to that navigation. The other one is on my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok, everything I'm doing right now is shifting over to this EP. Okay. Everything.
I love that.
Well, I'm 100%. And so you go to my page and you're like, I want to get connected. Boom, I'm going to get you this website.
That part.
Or reach out to me and I'm going to get you set up.
Directly. And so Somewhere Fest, the concerts, obviously tickets cost. Block party and this community engagement.
Free. So and you're still going to have DJs out there.
For
you're
sure.
Still going to have artists. You're still going to have experience. Like, all that's free. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you actually go and navigate, I mean, there's opportunities for you to get rewards, to get tickets there, to get inside the food courts, to do all these things right there. Yeah. Experience it, get connected.
So I'm thinking out loud. That's the show. And when we just had NCAA here, I seen a lot of shuttles and things of that nature. I don't know if it's done already, but it would be really dope if there were indeed. Just looking at anything that would make somebody say, I can't get there. I don't see a reason, so it's free. But if I don't got, because people be looking to impact, right? May not have all the resources. It would be dope if there were indeed shuttles and hubs to get folks to these situations. I'm just thinking out loud.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. And we ain't even thought about that yet.
Yeah.
But this is why it's all of us, right?
100%.
And so I love that. And how do we, now they go into these community centers and that's your hub and we can take you from here, point A to point B. Mm-hmm. You know, I love that. Now I think that it's maybe not this year, might not be ready for that, but definitely in the future, absolutely. For sure. Because one thing you don't want to do is put yourself in a situation where you become vulnerable because of somebody saying, oh, well, my kid went on the bus, and so there's that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I think that becomes possible. Yeah. Especially when you got a whole family going out there doing it together.
Come on, getting better together. Come on, man. Listen. All right, Coach Cheese. So the question I love to ask, one of my favorite questions. 10 years ago, what would Coach Cheese right now tell Coach Cheese 10 years ago? I'll probably say that, this is good. Move out of your way. I like that.
100% move out your way.
I like that.
Don't pick up these bad habits. Don't pick up these things trying to shortcut the process. Yeah. Trust the process. Stay the course. 100% stay the course. Yeah. Now here's the thing. You know what? No, I take that back. Man, I apologize. I take that back. Yeah. I wouldn't tell myself anything. Because I wouldn't become the person I am now if I didn't go through those things. I wouldn't have that story to tell. I wouldn't be able to navigate. I wouldn't have these relationships. I wouldn't have this kind of passion.
Yeah.
So if I tell myself something back then I'm gonna miss out on who I am today.
I love that answer.
That's real. It's like everything I went through was for a reason. I needed that.
Yeah.
You know, when you see them scars on your arms and your hands, you know what those battle scars is from.
Come on.
But those battle scars are also lessons. It's also a story to tell.
Yeah.
So now, man, 100%. I wouldn't even give myself more motivation. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Man, for real, man, I wouldn't. I would just watch.
I love that. I love that. That's the perfect answer. All right, we about to do a quick rapid fire. So this the ending segment.
Okay.
So with this, you don't got to give a whole lot of thought to it.
Nah.
You don't even have to expound on the idea or your answer unless you want to. But I'm gonna ask you a question and I want to hear the first thing that come to your mind.
Bet.
You ready?
Ready.
What's one habit you refuse to break?
Ooh. Believing in people.
You leave it at that? What's the best advice you've ever received?
Tell me I can't. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Preaching. Who inspires you outside of yourself?
Man, my mama, my kids, my brothers, my wife, everybody.
Yeah.
100%. And that's crazy as it sounds to everybody because everybody got a story. And I feel like some lessons I don't need to learn through experience. I can learn through somebody else's experience and then figure out a way to apply it or connect it to. So, everybody.
Early mornings or late nights?
Both. 100%.
Okay.
The work that's required for me right now, I gotta be up late. And I gotta be up early. My first session's at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Best routine for me to win right now is if I get up at 4 o'clock and I take my time to get ready.
Okay.
I meditate, I shower, I do all the cold baths, all these things.
Yeah.
During that process. I'm ready then. The reason why late night works so well because I gotta spend time with my kids.
Come on.
So once I get done and they go to sleep, I then gotta spend some time with my wife and then I gotta put that work in. Now here's the thing, I know sleep is one of the most important things you can have, but I can't sleep yet. It ain't my moment. Right now it's for me to put the work, to invest.
Yeah.
Because the more people that I can get to go out here and spread these works and this message, the less I actually have to be present so that but I can't rest right now.
It's like they always talk about work-life balance. Ain't no work-life balance when your work is your life and your work is your life's mission.
100%, but it is balance.
For sure.
I'm gonna tell you why, because if I don't accomplish what I need to accomplish, I can't sleep well. I'm not looking for sleep, I'm looking for rest.
Yeah.
But if I take care of business in the morning, I start in that way, and I finish my work at night, if I go to bed at 11 and I wake up at 4, that's 5 hours of real rest. That's different.
Yeah.
When you resting, when you're sleeping, you're worried about everything tossing and turning. Man, but when you really resting, man, you out of there.
Yeah, you earned that sleep.
100%.
You mentioned your morning routine. I don't know if you've seen the video of the dude.
Man,
and it made me think of that.
Hey, yeah.
Of course, people giving them his flack, but I was talking with my wife. I'm like, that is a really great morning routine. Like, granted the times or whatever, but to be able to wake up, spend time to yourself, give time to God, right? Grow a little bit in your work. Like,
Come on.
That's a great way to start your day before you get to the things you have to do.
He influenced me.
Word.
Promise you.
Word.
Promise you. I always had a mindset like I need to do X, Y, and Z. I watched my partner do it. I'm like, all right, what works for me?
Yeah, that part.
Let me do it my way.
Come on.
But I love that 100%. That's inspiration.
100. Real
Simple,
life.
but real inspiration.
I love it. I love it. All right, last question. In one word, describe Wichita.
The start. I know that's cheating, but that's cheating, but nah. Okay, one word. Ooh, I want to say opportunity. Right. Yeah, opportunity.
I love that.
Because I believe that we're so underdeveloped that there's so much opportunity for us to grow.
Come on.
In any direction we want to go in.
Come on.
So, opportunity.
I love it. I love it. Well, Coach Cheeks, we've talked about a lot, man. It's been a pleasure to sit with you,
Man,
bro.
this is solid, yeah.
This has been really, really full of love, man, and full of information. Any parting words or closing statements you want to make, or anything you want people to really take away from this conversation today?
I think at the end of the day, it is, one, you are enough. People out here really do believe in you. And I don't care where you start. It's all about where you finish. And instead of pushing somebody down, build somebody up. I know you might feel like there's a bunch of enemies, but to be honest, you got people that's willing to fight with you, to fight for you. I'm not your enemy, I'm your brother, hands down. And I believe in you, and I believe in every single person. And here's the thing, we all make mistakes. We all mess up. And I just say, man, if I mess up, just be the hand there to help pick me up. If you mess up, I promise to do the same. And you know how many times you gotta mess up to learn your lesson? 7 times 77, man. Come on, man.
Come on.
It's bigger than us, man.
Yeah.
So, man, if you really wanna win, just get connected. That's it.
I love it, well, bro. I love you.
Man, hands down.
I appreciate you pulling up to the show.
Sure.
I'm prayerful, confident, and hopeful that everything that's yours continues to meet you halfway. You continue on this mission of yours, bro, because it is full of purpose, right? And I love to be involved in any way, shape, or form I can indeed be. Loved ones, this has been Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David, my special guest, Mr. Marquis Bradley, and we out.
Look both ways when you cross that street. Dot your I's and cross your T's. Measure twice, but cut once. Love life, live it up, bruh. Dream is good, do the work too. There ain't nothing you can't work through, and there ain't nothing I can't handle. There ain't nothing I can't handle. I look to the sky, and I thank God that I'm alive. I look to my wife, and I thank God she by my side. I've been through a lot, but I survived. It weighs on my heart from time to time, but there ain't nothing I can't handle.